Hey guys, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
A couple of weeks ago, we met at one of my favorite coffee shops, Summit Coffee here in Davidson, and we were. I think Tim started the group, right? Where it was
Side business success.
Side business success.
So if you're listening and you're interested in tips on how to continue to grow your business, or you just want some camaraderie with other people that are in business, or you work a day job and you do this thing on the side, you should join our Side Business Success Facebook group. So you can just search on Facebook, Side Business Success.
Yeah, Side Business Success. So, and obviously, I have a side business that is also the main business. Right. But I really enjoyed it, and I met Alison through the group. Mm-hmm. But a couple of weeks ago, we were talking, and we talked about having you guys come on the podcast. Just, I like to have people. Obviously, we're new to this, but still, I like to have conversations about business, and obviously the name is Overcoming Average. So one of the things that we were talking about, I don't know if you guys remember when I was mentioning sort of the topic for today, if there is one, is action leads to strategy. And I've been telling people as I run into them, and Daniel and Abby, like, for one, something that I have a problem with is I strategize, and I think about things and how I'm going to do them, but I don't always do them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so sometimes just what I've noticed for myself, and I've been trying to encourage people too, is to sometimes you just got to do and then figure out what works, And you guys are both in the social media, marketing, copywriting. So I wanted to kind of open up that discussion and see like, and I also wanted to say before I go into that, Alison and Tim both, I commend you guys just for the past couple weeks. Like, I've noticed drastic increase in Alison's posts, not necessarily quality. They've always been quality, but like I see them more. And for me as an IT guy, when a marketing person says, oh, you should do this, and I don't see them doing it, I just question like it.
Oh, and It is so hard to do your own stuff when you're tired of doing everybody else's stuff. It's you got to be disciplined.
But you two guys in particular, and Tim just recently got the social media job at Life Fellowship, and already seen a great increase there of posts and visuals and memes. Can we call them memes? Are they memes?
Yeah, they're memes. Yeah.
Okay. We haven't had a good Ben Rudolph viral meme yet, but I'm waiting on it. There's going to be
It's coming.
or a Dan Burrell or something. So it'll be the next Baby Yoda. But anyway, yeah. So I've noticed, Alison, your posts. So to me, that's action. Maybe you had a strategy, but sometimes for me, the strategies, it's not always crystal clear, even though I want it to be. And then even when I do get my strategy crystal clear, I still don't always like act on it. I'm kind of like, cool, I made my to-do list. Now I'm going to go and, do whatever, go to sleep or whatever. So I just wanted to kind of open up that discussion and talk about what are some things that you've done? What are some actions you've taken to kind of get over that? Because I've been accused before of making a to-do list and then making on the to-do list a task to reorganize the to-do list yet again. So that's strategy getting in the way of my action. So
I think a big realization for me, and in my latest post that I put out, I kind of wrote about this a little bit, and it's the realization that sometimes done is just better than perfect. Obviously if I'm working on something for a client, it's got to be clean, it's got to be pristine and ready to go. But there's so many people that get hung up because they want everything to be exactly perfect, and I have to have this whole strategy mapped out, and I can't get it the way I want it because I'm juggling the business that I'm running or my family life or just anything in between. And sometimes like what I'll tell clients is, just get started, because something is better than nothing, and done is better than perfect.
Yeah, that's great. And I can't remember the general, but there was one general that said like a poorly put together plan today is better than a great one next week. Like sometimes you just got to go to battle. You just got to go fight, and get it done. So
I think one of the other main things is to remain flexible in that, so you can strategize and have a plan and then you start to move forward. But if you're too rigid with your plan, you can end up living in a lot of frustration because things are going to come up, things are going to change, and you really have to be careful about how tight you hold to your strategy as you're moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to overcome the things that hold me back. And I go back and forth with like, is it better for a person to spend time on what they're really good at? Like if I'm an A, try to get to an A+. Or is it better to focus on, I'm a D and I'm going to try to get to a C, you know? And I think for me as a small business owner, it's hard because maybe I don't have a choice. Like I've got to balance the books. Am I the best at it? No. Am I terrible at it? No. But I'm not an A, you know, and I don't want to make those mistakes. So it's like we have to sort of do a little bit of everything, but I can't let that get in the way of, it's just got to do it. Because I think doing it maybe, establishes a little bit of a connection. You get another client. Now you can't afford that better CPA or that person. So totally like the like you said, Tim, like sometimes I think the way to quantify it is to say, what does it always say? Paralysis of analysis.
Yeah.
Like that's
there's so many options that you have going on that you just don't know what to do next. And let me put a little bit of a plug in here. One of the things for me that has changed my position on where I'm at in business is a coach, is having a leadership coach. That person really helps you talk out what you're thinking in your brain and then helps you organize where you're going with certain things and then holds you accountable to those things. So in my coaching, both I give coaching and I have a coach, those are the things that I'm trying to focus on, asking those questions to help uncover why are you stuck here, what is causing you to be stuck, and then how can we make specific a plan to get you unstuck in those certain areas in business or in life, and then where are the things that we need to staff our weaknesses in that sense, where you can do it for now because you have to, but the ultimate goal is to say, I'm going to bring somebody else in that's a much better CPA or much better this or that or whatever you need on your team. And a coach will help you identify some of those things. So that's been really valuable, I feel like, in my life, is when I'm stuck, I get on the phone with my coach and we have a session where we can just plot those things out and know how to move forward.
Yeah, Tim, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, a lot of times I'll ask my client, like, well, why did you hire me? Mostly it's because A, they're not skilled at what I do, or B, they don't have the time, or both. And for me in my business, it's prioritizing things. Right. You mentioned you're seeing a lot more content from me, and that was a conscious decision. It's a strategy on my end. Well, I could do my own bookkeeping, but that's not my strength. I am not great at it. It takes me a really long time to get through my books. I could pay somebody a little bit of money to do it for me, and that opens up the time for me to be able to write more content for myself. Well, that's beneficial because the content is what's bringing in new clients for me. The new clients are coming in. It's not such a big deal that I'm paying somebody to do my books now. You just got to kind of look at it that way as well.
Well, and that's why I brought it up, is like I appreciate when there's a tangible and obvious change. And for me, I felt like after our last conversation at the coffee shop, it was like, well, I see a lot more from Alison. Partially, maybe it's algorithm, like maybe it's because I clicked on the first one. I see all your stuff now, because I do wonder, I believe the statistics on social media, and you guys could probably speak to this more, is that 1% of the people on a platform are the creators of the content. So it's only like with Facebook, there's 1 billion people on Facebook. So that leaves 100 million people to create content. So it's a lot. Whereas TikTok is a newer platform, so there's not as many creators. So there's a higher probability of standing out if it's, say, 100,000, and you're 1,000 people are creating content. It's more likely to be seen. But yeah, I noticed an obvious difference in the quantity that you were putting out, and then your engagement as well. Like you're talking on there and responding. And I know from some of the posts that I do, and I'm by no means an expert at this stuff. And actually Tim helped me early on in sort of the coaching of like, all right, you got to at least think about what you're doing when we're posting and all that stuff. So part of it is just I would post and then start to engage in something that hopefully is viable to a possible client. Maybe not. I mean, a lot of times my content is just helpful. Like I don't really, it's not always a hook, right? I just am like, hey, I hope this helps you. Mm-hmm. It might not even be a business owner, but it might be like my wife's, the lady that teaches next to her in the office, like how to help her with her iPhone a little bit better, you know? But I've noticed that, because I was asked this question a couple of weeks ago of another business owner. He was asking if my social media stuff's working. And, I don't see much content from this person, maybe one a month or something like that. But they see my stuff enough to say, is all that work you're putting into it working? And I would say I'm like 10% of what I want to do. I want to put more out, but the time factor is difficult at this point. But my answer to him was, it's working, but it's not this magic wand. Like, it's not like, I posted a picture of myself like with an iPad and now, 15 people called like ready to sign on the dotted line for a contract for 5 years on iPad management. Like it's not realistic. There's a lot of trust that needs to be built, establishment of who you are, what you actually do. Because I think there's so many nuanced jobs these days. It's like, what exactly do you do? Are you in marketing? For me, it's like, you do computers. Can you like build me a website? And it's like, well, I have to explain.
It's not really, yeah.
But my answer to this guy was, what's been happening for me is, I guess, top of mind. Like people that I had relationships with 2 years ago, where whether it was, an engagement that they just kind of got stuck with me, or they were in the room while I was doing a training, or somehow there was a relationship established. And I'm a relational guy. I like to talk to people. And so, this particular guy, we went out to lunch twice because I was out there on site with his team. Mm-hmm. And then this guy saw a post on LinkedIn. He didn't comment on the post. He never comments on the post. But then he direct messaged me and said, hey, our business has some stuff that we think you might be able to help with. Would you like to talk about it? That's the stuff that I guess you could call it organic, but it's not really organic. It's social media working. It's just not that magic wand. It's like, oh yeah, it's a relationship that I've established and then basically nurtured without knowing. Like the guy's watching, okay, Chad's posting content about iPad management. We've got an issue with iPad management. And he calls. So what's your guys, because you guys are in two totally different fields than me. What do you see as far as like what actually lands a client? Like what are you seeing content wise or whatever that's that makes somebody come to you? And what type of person is it? Are people coming out of the blue, or is it relationships or reoccurring, extra business with the people you have? Or what are you guys seeing with what you're doing?
A lot of my work has been referral work, people that, my personal clients that I do consistent work for that, appreciate what I do. And then they know somebody that needs work done and they say, oh, hey, I've got the person for you. What I tell all of my clients is that content marketing is an investment, not a get rich quick scheme. And that's how I lay the foundation, because there are people out there that they expect, oh, I'm paying $200 for a blog post. It better bring me in thousands of dollars this month. And I'm like, it's not how it works. And to your point, it's really consistent content is more about visibility than it is bringing in new clients. Sometimes it's about top of mind, keeping yourself constantly in front of people that may one day say, oh, I need this service. Like you just talked about, oh, now I have this need. I know who the first person in my mind is going to be to fix this issue, because I'm constantly seeing what they're doing, and what they're putting out is good content. So I know that they can do the same for me.
Well, and I think you said something really important there, because there are people that put out lots of content, but it's not great. Mm-hmm. And it is about quantity. I think quantity is very important in 2020, like just quantity, but quality, it can't be ignored. Because
course, yeah.
there are some people where I see their social media stuff and I'm like, wow, I know I'm not going to use them anymore, or whatever it might be. I see like, well, we're just not a fit. But Tim, with yours, it's a totally different ball game because you're not necessarily looking for a client. You're not looking to land, somebody that's going to sign a contract for IT or whatever. But what is a client for you? Like, what's the land? Like, are you, because you basically, and you can describe it a little bit better than me, you work for Life Fellowship, for 1 Minute Apologist, and for some other places, but a lot of it's ministry based. So you want to build an established brand of providing content. And so what's the win for you?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And for me, it's kind of evolving right now. Like actually in this moment, it's still a process. But I think when I'm posting on social media, my primary purpose is to be relatable and start conversations. So I try to, as best I can when I'm formulating my post, is to say, what will get people talking, or what will make people's day, or what will, when they're scrolling through, will get them to stop and be like, oh, that's cool, or that was uplifting or inspiring or whatever. So that's me from like a personal standpoint. But I think this goes back to the strategy that we were talking about. You were asking, somebody asked you the question, is it working, right? Well, working depends on what your end goal is.
Right.
And so you can't necessarily say, well, yes, it's working, unless you've established what that end goal is. And so when I sit down with a client, I will look at and ask questions like, well, who's your target market? What do you actually want to do with your social media? Is it merely brand awareness? Is it client acquisition? Is it to just continue to grow a following? In that sense, growing a following and being a well-known brand might get you speaking engagements. It might get you book deals. It might get you, a movie contract, whether it's being a producer or an actor. I mean, there's a number of stories of quality actors and actresses being passed over for less quality actors and actresses because the person that was less good at acting had a larger following on social media. So merely putting in the time and effort to grow their social media influence landed them a larger job. And their social media influence wasn't necessarily them acting. It was just them being an influence in the community and being out there and having lots of followers. And when they say, oh, this is a really cool thing, people, gravitate towards that. Those are the people that movie producers want to have in their movie, right? Those are people that speakers want to bring into their company. People that say, oh, I have, 500,000 followers on Facebook. And it's like, well, that translates to them as influence. So I think having those goals in mind when you start helps you be able to create a strategy for posts and what it's going to be for the long run and for the future. And so I think it's different for me. Like what I'm posting on 1 Minute Apologist or Life Fellowship is slightly different. My goals are different for both of those. And my personal page has a different goal as well. And so I'm posting different things for different reasons on all of those different sites.
Yeah, well, and going back to the sort of concept I brought up earlier of action leads to strategy, like it's easy to say that, but I was at an entrepreneur meetup earlier this week, and the people had a concept. I won't go into what it was exactly, but it's really good. I know that like the world needs this concept, but they're, especially in a little bit older generation, they don't fully grasp Facebook. They're just getting into Facebook, much less Instagram, and LinkedIn is to them relatively new and some of that. But the way these people were talking about their brand, I just kept thinking they have no idea how much effort it's going to take to get there with zero budget, by the way. But, they were saying, yeah, we were thinking we would just make a little video and, and the guy kept saying viral video. And I'm like,
good luck with that.
Have you ever made a video? Like, and I was, in that setting, they're coming to get roasted a little bit. Like they're coming to say, here's my business idea. How can it be better? And so a couple of us were like, look, you have to start posting on social media because they're not monetizing. And one of their questions was, how do I monetize? And I kind of boiled it down for them in a way to say, the only things you can monetize in this world are products, services, And nowadays, I would say it's a fair assessment to say platform is another monetizable thing, just because, like Tim said, like just because you have 5 million followers on something, you're a valuable thing. In our world, I mean, things like Facebook, it's literally just an application. It's just an app on some server someplace, but it's so valuable because of the platform it brings, which is actually, it sort of comes back around, like the platform is important for people that want to provide services and products, right? So they're not selling products. They are not super keen on services, and they're talking about the platform. So I was just trying to show them, like, there's going to be a lot of action there. Like, to get a video done, if you knew what you were doing, would take a couple days, to get it ready, to film it, to have, but when you say something like Final Cut to them, they don't even know what it is yet. So I see that, like, gosh, I really, I want to help them if I can,
Final Cut's a video editing software for those of you that don't know what that is.
Yes. So, excuse me. I was talking to some other folks, and the dream of, like, the perfect world is that everybody just does everything for everybody for free, right? That'd be great. Like, the guy that makes corn, he just grows it and he gives it away, but the lawyer he needs also does that work for free. But with these people, it was sort of depressing in a way, because it's like, man, this concept is so good. If they had the platform, they could do a lot of really good things. This has to do with medical and providing seniors with products and technology that they need and stuff like this. It's a really good concept. So I just kept thinking, gosh, if there was a marketing agency or a couple of people that would be willing to invest their time into that for a share. And I think maybe we don't do that much anymore, where we say, hey, look, I'll do this work for you for a share rather than like a paycheck. I think it could be really great. I
thought about doing something similar, where you and I were actually, I was texting you about this a couple weeks ago, Allison, where we were saying, man, to get started or to continue to grow your, your case study base in marketing, wouldn't it be cool to kind of say, you pay for the advertisements, I'll kind of, do some initial work for free, and then you pay me per, whatever your objective is, like page like or engagement or sale or whatever. It's whatever your KPI, your key performance indicator is. But I would say with that, and I don't know who these people are that you're talking about, but Facebook itself is such a powerful platform for advertising that if you're going to spend money on printing up a brochure and doing a mailing, I would say you probably could get better results if you put that same amount of money into Facebook advertising. For this primary reason, you can target so much more specifically who you want to reach,
right?
And increase your probability that person is going to click or buy or whatever. So I don't give away all my secrets, but I was just talking to a former coaching client last night, and they have this big, huge, giant gala that they do every year. It's this giant fundraiser for them, and it's in about 4 weeks. And I was reaching out to her and saying, hey, have you thought about doing a social media strategy? Because I kind of see sporadic posts from them every once in a while. And she was like, no, we really haven't, but we'll have to wait till after the gala to even think about that. And I said, is your gala sold out? And she was like, absolutely not. She's like, we're about to send out an email to try to get more people to come to our gala. And I said, do you have an email list of previous people that have gone to this gala the last 5 years or so? And she's like, yeah, we have all of those emails all in a database. I'm like, why wouldn't you, instead of sending out an email, why wouldn't you do a Facebook advertisement to those people? Because you can upload your client list into Facebook, do a custom audience, and just advertise something to those people. It's a high probability they're going to go because they've gone before. They already know the value of it. They already know how fun it is. They already know that your organization is amazing. They already heard the speeches. So you're going to send out an email to people that might not open. I mean, my email open rate right now is at 23%. I don't know. You probably get way better open rates, Allison, because you're probably way better at.
Honestly, if you're hitting around 20%, that's not too shabby.
Right, but you can on Facebook. People are scrolling on that way more. I see. I'm more apt to read a sponsored ad on Facebook than I am to click something that I know clearly is an advertisement for me on my email, just because I'm more prone to be on Facebook than I am to go through and check lengthy emails.
Oh yeah, I think that's where society is. But but I want to say something about that. Like, and I brought this up actually at our last meeting about like giving away your services, and a lot of people are not down for that because it's like, well, God, I mean, I got to get paid for this stuff, and time is valuable. But when I look at this client and I think, if they just had like, they don't even, they're into like medical technology. They have no idea about video and email campaigns versus Facebook. They need, and you said something there with like, who's your audience? I don't even think they know. I don't even think that they know who their audience is. So I look at a place like that, and I mean, I don't think I'm wrong in this. Like, when you say like you don't want to give away your secrets, I think that you could give all your secrets away and you're still going to be hired because they say, he knows what he's talking about. I'm just going to have him do it. Because at the end of the day, you can tell the client what to do and they still won't do it.
Right.
It's like, you're the doctor, take the medicine, and they still won't take the medicine, So, but
67% of people are non-compliant in the medical world.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way I look at it, is they've got a problem and you're the aspirin, you're the pill that they need to take to solve it.
Right.
And maybe it's just, hey, take this pill and I'll give you the first couple for free. But after this certain thing is established, then you'll agree to pay me and whatever. I think that we need to do more of that stuff in this world. Like, I look at that and I think, I would hate to see this company fail. But sadly, I think unless they do what I'm talking about, they are going to fail. They're going to just eventually just kind of fizzle out. And we don't have any income, so we can't keep doing this. We're going to go work for Bank of America and call it, whatever. But I just really believe in that. And I really believe like, I do a lot of free IT stuff for people, most of it's because I'm like, they would never pay the bill anyway, or it's a friend or something, cause I know that for me, it's just another connection, if you ever need anything, this is the guy, and
right.
And that happens. It's a word of mouth thing. But, anyway, yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about, especially with marketing, because, I heard from somebody else this week that the thing about marketing that's tough is you cannot see or guarantee, and we talked about this at our meeting last time too, you can't guarantee the result. You just don't know. Mm-hmm. It's like, this pill might work for you and it also might not. And it's, I think that going along with the lines with the medical thing, like if you made that pill and it works, you should give it to people and see what happens, and say it's going to work. But if it works, here's what's going to happen, because, and I told you guys before, I've approached marketing people and sat through meetings and they talk about the email campaigns and all this stuff. And so, we're doing some of the stuff and it doesn't work really, and it's like, oh, well, I'm going to try this other strategy. I'm going to try a different pill. But if you're confident that it's going to work, that's my opinion. With IT, it's a little bit different because it's like, I don't know what to give them for free until I spend a month figuring out all their stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I find going above and beyond for the people you work with first and foremost. There's things I do for my clients all the time where it's like, oh, I could be paid for this, but I'm just going to do it because I know. Yeah. They're going to come back to me. And it's kind of the philosophy of, as you were saying earlier, giving away secrets, so to speak. Yeah. I mean, you could be a dentist and everybody knows how to brush their teeth. Yes. There's tutorials, there's videos, there's blog posts. I'm sure you can read about how how do you properly go back and forth, or, how to floss and all this stuff. But guess who still goes to the dentist twice a year? Most people. And the reason is not, because they don't know how to brush their teeth. It's because there's extra things that the dentist knows how to do that, the person can't do on their own. So, I don't know, just kind of interesting philosophy. Well, and I mean, I think it's me looking into the future and even in the present and seeing like everything that we do really now is turning into a subscription-based model. Like,
my mom yesterday was texting us pictures of books and DVDs and saying, hey, do you guys want these? And it's like literally every one of those I can go stream online now. Right. But seeing the DVD case and the book made me remember, like, oh man, I've got the case. I finally have it. They finally released the video at Best Buy.
Yep.
And we paid for it and we have it. So there's a part of me that's like, I hate to see that go. But the reality is the world has been in the model of I'll pay $10 a month for Netflix and whatever for Disney Plus, and then I'll just get all the stuff. And in the marketing world, there's a few markets I think that haven't moved there yet. And marketing's one of them. I'm starting to see, as an owner, I'm constantly getting I get like 3 or 4 SEO experts a day in my LinkedIn. Hey, do you need help with your SEO and blog posts and social media? And a lot of them are people that are clearly from, they're just working remote, just hitting everybody they can, just spamming people. But I got an advertisement for, I think it was called Design Pickle. Have you guys seen Design Pickle?
Yep.
And the model's fantastic. It's basically, I haven't used it to be honest, but they don't pay me, but Design Pickle's basically like you pay a flat rate and they'll do any and whatever design work you need. Make a logo, make it a rectangle and make a square or turn it into a circle, whatever you need. And I thought, man, that's a great model because I know my brother's in graphic design. He can pop that stuff out in seconds. He just here, boom, 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 done. And I'm paying, I don't know what it is, $100, $200 a month. And I'm probably not going to have more than 5 or 6 things. Maybe in the beginning there's going to be this huge, I'm going to ask for a lot. But eventually it's going to slow down, and then I'll be paying them monthly, and they probably have you need to sign up for a year at a time. So I think that model in a way is nice because if I needed that help, I would hate to be like, how long is this going to take? And what's the hourly rate to get a circle, and then with my IT services, I like that proactive approach where I say, look, here's the bill and whatever it takes. This customer last night, I was up till 2:15 working on the router, and they will not get an overage bill because it's part of the deal. But also next month when everything's working smooth and I don't do much, that's part of the deal too. And it goes both ways. And I like that for my business model, and I'm starting to see it be effective for even cell phones. We were talking, I was talking to a guy the other day about the pay per minute plans and how there used to be a day where you'd be talking to your girlfriend and you're like, wait, it's, I got to wait till after 7 to call you. And then you called her 30 minutes earlier and you get a $500 phone bill. Like it's crazy, but that's what it used to be like. And now we don't even think of it. Just pick up a phone, call somebody, talk for 3 hours, like whatever you need to do. We're more worried about charging our phones than the minutes anymore.
Who talks on the phone anymore? Seriously.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
Just text me.
So old school, right? Yeah. Yeah. You call somebody and they text you back. What do you need?
I do that all the time. I have this thing where if people call me, I'm afraid it's an emergency. I'm like, what's the emergency? Answer the phone. Like, what's the emergency? And they're like, nothing. I was just calling to say hi. And I was like, oh, okay. Whew.
I'm just going to call you from now on then.
Yeah, there you go. You'll actually get him if you're calling. Well, and I think that is another society thing too that we're seeing is like you guys were talking about email, and I was listening to somebody say like in the 90s, email click rates were like 95%. Like I got an email, I'm going to read it. Yeah. And now they're mostly ignored, if not filtered out immediately or spammed. I actively am putting spam filters in for customers that filter out anything that's not an email from somebody they know. It's just like they don't have time. I personally get probably 100, 150 emails a day that I see. The filtered ones are going straight in the bin. So,
but you scroll past probably more than 500 posts a day.
Yeah.
Right. So the email is so much less efficient. Allison's going to reach over and slap me because you send out emails, right? I send out emails too, bulk emails and stuff like that. But to me, the social media thing is just more ingrained in a larger portion of the culture and I know lots of people that even aren't on Facebook at all. And I'm just like, what? Like I give them a weird.
Yeah.
But there's so many people.
Well, they're
that
on
are.
something, like, because I mean, there are still billboards, there are still business cards being printed, like, and actually, this customer that they're not my customer, but the client that is trying to grow their business the other day, they were talking about how for them it might be a reasonable thing to do print ads and like get into magazines, you know, like for them, it's like I think that's crazy, but then I'm thinking, well, if the old folks home subscribes to this magazine and this guy that would buy the product is sitting there with the magazine, it might be a good sell. But at the end of the day, it's all about basically, you know, if I buy 100 mail ads and it costs me 10 cents and the ROI is 11 cents, then I should buy a lot of them.
Right.
And if not, I should stop. But at the same time, I think like with email, it's sort of just that, I'm probably misusing the term, but the trickle campaign of just maybe they glanced at the email. They might not have read it, but they might have saw it. And it's just, it might be one more top of mind. And the cost of email campaigns is relatively cheap in terms of a Facebook ad or a Google AdWord is going to be a lot more than that. But yeah, I personally have been leaning a little bit more into the Google business page. I don't know if you guys have looked at that much, but
Not a lot.
it's I don't know if it would be much for your stuff, but for us, it's just people searching, hey, I need a copywriter, I need IT, and it's local, and you pop up on a map, and I've seen a lot of traffic there. I can't say that it's turned anything, but I've only been doing it for a while, you know, to actually paying attention. So.
Well, I mean, we've talked about all these different mediums, social media and, you know, local listings and email. And I mean, I think, yeah, depending on what your goals are, there are certain things, you know, like maybe social media that might be more effective, but really, I think a lot of it is just having a multi-touch point system as well.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
connecting with people, you know, somebody might be more willing to read your article as they're scrolling through Facebook, but, you know, an email for how much it takes to put together an email. And if you already have an email subscriber list, click the button and it sends to everybody. It's, you know, a really great way just to touch them again. And, you know, it's interesting. I've had some really fantastic success with email. I just wrote a case study not too long ago about one of my clients who brought in $150,000 in under 4 months with just emails that we put together. And they were emails, they were promoting a webinar or a video series that he did.
Right.
And that was also very helpful. But that, you know, of course, they also did Facebook and Google ads as well, but that's separate from what the emails brought in. So it's
definitely not dead.
Oh no, it's definitely not
Right.
dead. I think it's just all about having multiple touch points constantly. Once again, it goes back to the point of how can you constantly put yourself in the line of people so that they're constantly seeing you and, you know, you're the one that comes top of mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's really silly, but the company I used to work for, we would send out a monthly newsletter. The amount of work we got out of this silly newsletter, I mean, it was just silly. We would share articles and stuff, but really, I mean, we would share memes and jokes, and I mean, it would just be the most goofy email and deemed really successful. People expected it to come every month and people looked forward to it because it was silly and interesting.
Yeah.
And that was really effective as well. So just, you know, it really depends on who your audience is and what your end goal is. And
Yeah, I mean, like I said, email is definitely not dead. Like, you know, 1 Minute Apologist, we send out a weekly email every Monday, you know, mid-morning or so. And really all it is links to the content that we've put out in the last week. And so there's a number of people that wouldn't go to our YouTube page to see what new video we've come out with, but they're in the habit of checking the email. And then so they click on it and go, you know, listen to our podcast, or they listen to, you know, one of the videos that we put out. And so for them, it's just a way to say, I'm not on those mediums regularly. I mean, the bulk of our viewers are, but there's a small portion of people that are, well, I'll just wait for the email and I'll click on that and go there. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it goes back to kind of what we were saying in the beginning, I think, where you have to know who your client is, and then you have to brainstorm where are they looking for certain products. You know, I mean, is it the newspaper? Is it a magazine? Is it in their mailbox? Is it on their computer? Is it on their phone? Is it social media? Like, where is that? And really, again, that to me is one of the things that I love to help people do in their business, is to be able to sit down with them, go through some of those questions and then hire people like Allison and others to say, okay, great, well, email is going to be the best way to do that. So let's grab an email list, let's construct some emails, and let's shoot them out and see what our rate of return is. Or email's not going to work, let's do a Twitter campaign and see if we can get some business through that. So yeah, love that.
Awesome. So keeping in line with the action and strategy, action leads to strategy thing. So what's up next for both of you guys? What's something I can hold you accountable to? Some action you need to take?
Staying on top of doing for myself what I do for my clients.
That's wonderful.
Not neglecting my own business while I'm focused on everybody else.
So what does that look like? Is it a quantity? Like, what should we be seeing from you? And by the way, you need to plug, what's the name of your business?
My business is Scribble LLC, and you can find it at scribblellc.com.
Awesome. So what should we expect to see? I'm going to be on Facebook. What am I going to see from you in the next month?
You're going to see a minimum of 2 posts per month, hopefully more than that, but 2 is, really a good goal for me. To constantly be putting that out there on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, taking it a step further, and instead of just posting a link, I'm publishing LinkedIn articles.
Yeah.
So that kind of registers a little bit differently in LinkedIn and makes it a little bit more accessible. So that's, really what I'm moving
Are you on
forward
Instagram as well?
I am on Instagram. I have not posted there in a while, so I got to get back there as well.
Well, and we were talking earlier about the email, for me, I'll write a blog and then make an email out of the blog and then take a picture of the tweet and post it on Instagram. And so I would encourage you to do that. Just because I'm on LinkedIn a lot, I'm on Instagram a lot today, but there was a time where I was never on LinkedIn and I was on Facebook. You guys know how it is, but anyway, awesome. So we'll look forward to that. What about you, Tim? What do you got going on?
So I just 2 days ago, I launched a new Facebook page. And this is really just kind of my own personal case study. So I'm not even going to say what it is because I'm purely just going to use some tactics to be able to grow this Facebook page from the 37 likes it has now to my goal is to over 10,000 in the next 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I don't want anyone to know that it's necessarily connected to me or to invite my friend list to it. I'm just going to employ some of the strategies that I've been thinking. I've honed in on who the target market is. I'm going to be deploying some ads for page likes. I'm going to be trying to create viral content that people will share and see if I can get it to 10,000 in the next 4 weeks. So that's my thing among all the other things that I'm doing.
Yeah. I saw a guy on TikTok the other day say he had a little video saying he kind of filmed his bosses and he said, my boss says if I get 1 million views that he'll give me a raise double what I'm making right now. And I looked he had 3 million views.
Nice.
Yeah, TikTok is a little weird, but I think it's something that at least I'm having to start paying attention to. The thing I don't like is when you first get on a platform like that, it throws stuff at you that's popular, and sometimes it's stuff you don't really want to see. But as you kind of go in and click the things you like, you see a little bit more of it. But there's not a lot of content creators on TikTok right now.
Because it's hard to monetize, and it's hard to get your target market honed in, right? So from a content creator standpoint, it's a little more hit or miss.
Well, and it depends on, again, what you're selling too, right? If you're selling sneakers and makeup or whatever, it's probably great, but for IT services and stuff, I'm not saying it's irrelevant by any stretch because once you see someone advertise on a platform in a different way and you say, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it, then maybe it's a game changer.
Sure.
But anyway. Well, hey, thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
We'll have to do it again sometime. So
Certainly.
For those listening, Overcoming Average is sponsored by Atlas Technology Solutions. So find us on all the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the normal pages, and we'll get this video up and the podcast on YouTube as soon as possible. So thanks again, guys.